let me ask you about these sanctions. You heard Tony Blinken say here that new sanctions will be going into effect. But is that going to be enough? Because you're just back from Ukraine, I know. And so far, the sanctions we have announced seem to have had no impact whatsoever.
Yeah, Bob, I think these targeted sanctions against individuals just are not affecting Putin's behavior enough. And I think you've noticed the red line has now moved. Last week, the red line was demobilizing the 40,000 troops that are on the border that are intimidating people inside eastern Ukraine. Now it's just him not going in. So I've been advocating, as so many people have. Carl Levin was just in the area. He was there a day after me. A Democrat, as you know, was also advocating that we begin hitting companies within Russia to further destabilize their economy. Their goal, Russia's goal inside Ukraine, is to destabilize the country, to delegitimize the elections that are taking place on May the 25th. And over time, he can achieve his goals without actually sending troops in. I think, you know, he has little green men, black ops, inside fomenting problems inside eastern Ukraine. Today, the people of eastern Ukraine are not yet with Putin. He's trying to change that dynamic. It's amazing the only information that people in eastern Ukraine are getting is from Russia. That's the only Russian-speaking news that is occurring. So over time, continuing to do what he is doing, he can do without actually sending people in. So again, I think we need to put sectoral sanctions in place. I think we need to move those troops away from the border, change the behavior. And I'm very concerned that as we've seen from this administration on so many tough issues, their policies are always late after the point in time when we could have made a difference in the outcome. So I'm very concerned. I've been saying that on telephone calls and emails and with the White House, but I hope tomorrow's sanctions are much stronger than just against individuals.
Well, how do you move those troops off the border, Senator?
Well, again, I think that was part of the agreement that took place last week. I think that, again, the intimidation that's occurring there is destabilizing eastern Ukraine. So again, with sanctions, I mean, that was what the agreement was about. Russia has not lived up to that agreement. And to me, again, much tougher sanctions need to be put in place. Well, I realize that we want to act in... Go ahead.
Let me just ask you, what are much tougher sanctions? What would that mean? Help us understand.
Well, you know, so I think you've read recently where the Russian economy is certainly very fragile. There's concerns internally about them going into a recession. To me, hitting four of the largest banks there would send shockwaves into the economy. Hitting Gazprom would certainly send shockwaves into the economy. So again, to me, Bob, what I fear is all we're doing is tweaking, folks, okay? These are oligarchs. We really aren't affecting, if you will, the upper middle class in Russia, a broader base of citizens in Russia at present. And I think, again, these sanctions on individuals are not having it's not creating the kind of pain within Russia that will cause Putin to change his behavior. By the way, again, these calls are bipartisan. I think there's concern on both sides of the aisle that the administration, in exercising such cautiousness as they did in Syria, where we've ended up in a situation that is one of the biggest humanitarian crises we've seen in a long, long time, by being so cautious, by being unwilling to confront someone who only responds to action, not words. I think you've seen recently where they're having some kind of hashtag tweet war. I mean, those are not the things that someone like Putin responds to. And again, I just think we need to hit him much more toughly prior to him taking steps that are going to be very difficult to undo.